All right. Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, the bonds to the elders and apostles of GMS, all the brothers doing the work, the 144,000 hopeful elect. And tonight I'm gonna do a video on Biden trying to foolishly get black voters, black people, Salaki, black people to vote for him in 2024. And basically, it's pointless for him to do this because most of the so-called black people see through him. And let's go here real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah 49, and we're going to talk about Edom. Judgment on Edom. Against Edom, thus says the Lord, Lord of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman? Has counsel perished from the prudent? Has wisdom vanished? Flee, turn back, dwell in the of depths, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will punish him. Alright? And we'll go down to 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His descendants are plundered, his brother and his neighbors, and he is no more. Alright? Let's start the video.
On Saturday for January 6th to Pennsylvania. That is something that the campaign is putting together.
Campaign trip to commemorate January 6th. After his trip this coming weekend, President Biden heads to speak at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina on Monday. It's the second of his first 2024.
Side note, right? This is the same MO that your Democrats always do. They go to a black church. They get the pastor and his sheeple congregation to buck dance and do a two-step for him, for the white master to come in there, pretend like he gonna do something for so-called black people when he passed the Asian crime bill for the so-called Asians being attacked. There was only like 2 or 3 attacks on the Asians, but these passed a crime bill, and he had so many so-called black people get murdered by cops, and no crime bill for so-called black people. Right? This is Biden right here. So he's gonna do the same MO that all you Democrats do. They go to a black church and they get the pastor to shuck and jive for him to get his sheeple congregation to go and vote for Democrats. Right? Same old playbook. They been doing it for years and decades and decades. Let's continue with the video.
Or campaign speeches. They'll likely echo themes from the first speech. Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's racist, etc., etc. The location, of course, carries special meaning because in 2015, Dylan Roof killed 9 people, shooting there at that historically black church. Where President Biden isn't going, coal country in Pennsylvania, suburban Atlanta, to talk with white workers, middle of Michigan to court union workers. Those are places with swing voters. But Mr. Biden is heading to a black church in a red state because of problems with his base.
Black, see, I told you, the same old playbook they've been doing for years, for decades and decades, going to a black church to get the 2/3 pastor to get his sheeple congregation to go and vote for another Democrat, right? That's the same old playbook they've been doing for decades and decades. Go to a black church and tell a bunch of lies and get the dumb people to go and vote for them. Same old mess they've been doing for decades and decades.
Black voters. With us now, civil rights attorney Robert Patillo, political consultant Shermichael Singleton. Gentlemen, good to see both of you. Robert, start with you because you've been predicting this. New polling from the Roper Center shows Biden gets the support of 63% of black voters, down from the 87% he carried in 2020. Does going to talk at a black church in Charleston change?
And that's a darn shame. It should be no 63% that he's most going to get in this coming election, right? It should be actually 0%. And it's a darn shame in 2020 that the so-called black people went and voted for that idiot. And right, for Biden in 2020, 87%, right? This is that's embarrassing, right? Let's continue.
It doesn't change it, but it's a good first step. What the black community is looking for is legislation.
Right, here you go, right here. It says Biden loses support of black voters. 87% voted for him in 2020. 7% voted for that idiot in 2020. Right? There's so many videos of that him slurring his speech, falling, don't even know where he's at, and 87% of so-called black people went and voted for that idiot, and 63% support him today. This is way too high. It should be 0%, and that should have been 0% in 2020.
Promised a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. It hasn't been voted on. We've been promised a Voting Rights Act. Hasn't been voted on. We've been promised various economic opportunities have not materialized yet. So for all the good work
But you know what did materialize? The Asian hate crime bill. That materialized in about 2 or 3 days after one or two Asians got supposedly attacked that they probably put together and made a big production on so they can get a Asian hate crime bill passed because they want to please their Chinese teammates, right? You got the team of Esau and Moab working together against Jake, the Israelites.
By the administration is done, there's still a deficit that has to be met. And when you see them advocating so strongly for other communities, it's very much as a push to get legislation pushed through while we have the opportunity to do so.
Politico, hardly a right-leaning news organization, came out with a phenomenal piece about Charlemagne the God, calling it the Charlemagne the God problem. We'll put up the headline in a minute. The influential radio host of the Breakfast Club is a thorn in the side of Democrats, but he's also representative of one of their biggest problems. Dan, you told us to vote for them, meaning Biden-Harris. Do you know how many people say that to me all the time? Sure, Michael. It's one thing to have people sit on the couch and stay home. It's another thing to flip them to be Republicans. That's not something that either Trump or Nikki Haley seems to be working on.
Yeah, but I don't think Trump necessarily needs to do that. Trump needs to just maintain his previous numbers in 2020. I mean, you look at states like Arizona and Georgia that Biden was able to flip. If Trump can regain those states, he'll win. Biden won Georgia by less than 20,000 votes. He won Arizona by less than 20,000 votes. So we look at the math. If there's a deficit in African-American turnout, if there's a deficit in Hispanic turnout, if there's a deficit in younger voters overall, then those states could indeed flip back to the Republican corner, thus giving Donald Trump a victory electorally this November.
I think about Joe Biden's relationship with the African-American community. He's had to apologize a couple times. He had to accomplish it. Yeah, well, I don't know, but even 2020, talking to...
Apologize? You got to remember, this guy created a 94 crime bill to make it easier so they can lock up so-called black men, right? So apology, he there's no point in him apologizing for anything. This guy's a straight demon, all right? And I'm going to read this to you. This is Isaiah 29 and 30. This is 29:15. Woe to those who hide deep from the Lord their counsel, whose deeds are in the dark, and who sees us, who knows us. You turn things upside down. Shall the potter be regarded as the clay, that the thing made should say of its maker, he did not make me, or the thing formed say of him who formed it, he has no understanding, right? But the main point is in 15. It said, woe to those who hide deep from the Lord their counsel, whose deeds are in the dark, and who sees us, who knows us, right? And this is Biden. He does all this create called kind of bills for the Asian community, the Asian hate crime bill, but nothing for so-called black people. And he'll say in front of people's face that he want to help us so-called black people, but he really doesn't. He want to help everybody else. It's all his teammates, Moab, and the congregation against the real Israelites, so-called black people, Native Americans, and Hispanics, and the other tribes. Right. So let's continue.
Charlemagne the God about courting the black vote, and then also for a comment in 2012. Take a listen.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Robert, being taken for granted is one thing, right? Nobody wants to feel taken for granted. But the ... to that would be, he picked the first black vice president in history. Why does that not sort of settle this all once and for all?
Well, it's a first step, but President Biden has an impeccable record.
And it's not a first step. You big head, 2/3 super coon Biden supporter right here. There's no first step. First of all, if you speaking of Kamala Harris, she's not even a black person. So he just said something about he picked a so-called black candidate as his vice president. She's not even black. She's Indian. She's an Indian. She's not black. She has the complexion and kind of the hair type of a black woman, but she's not black. She's Indian, right? You can look this up. So she's not black. So why they saying that he appointed a so-called black person to be his vice president? She's not black. She's Indian. You can look that up. That's facts.
Record when it comes to the appointment of African Americans. Contrary to what Mr. McKelvey has said, I'm not going to call a grown man Charlemagne, sorry, but contrary to what he has said, President Biden put an African American woman on the Supreme Court, African American vice president, African American defense secretary,
She's not.
African American joint chiefs,
She's
She's
not. She is not a black woman. She's an Indian woman. Butterbean 2/3 Jake right here. She's an Indian woman. So what is you a liar, and the white guy, both of y'all are liars. She is not black. She's Indian. And all the people he supposedly appointed are butter biscuit coons like you. Right? They sellouts. So of course you're gonna appoint so-called black people to sellouts. You're gonna support. He gonna give them positions, right?
Secretary, African American joint.
We get the list.
You get the list. So President Biden has a record to stand on. But when it comes to those big legislative items that people that he campaigned on, those are where they were missing.
I'm wondering, though, if it's a little more complicated. I'll give you the last 20 seconds or so. Social issues. Young black men, there's a conservative streak when it comes to certain social issues. I'm thinking about trans issues. I'm thinking about male head of household issues. I'm thinking about education. I'm wondering if it's a little bit more complicated.
And I'm glad he said that. He said male head of household. Now you have to go back and remember what Esau Edom did, right? You can look this up. They told the black woman to get the male out the house so you can get benefits, and that's what she did. That's why you have not that many households with black men as the lead, right? You have Eve as the lead in the house, the single black woman, the strong, supposedly strong, independent black woman as the lead of the house, right? That was set up by Esau Edom to kick the man out the house because they don't want the man in the house to raise kids that's in their right mind and doing the right thing under the leadership of men. That's why you have all types of issues with the kids today and in the past. So that's why you have issues in the so-called black community.
Housing and access to housing. I wonder if it's a little more complicated.
Economic prosperity. I mean, black men are trending more towards the right, like men generally speaking. I think black men, if you look at some focus group data, they do sort of feel this sense that they're being neglected, that they're being ignored by Democrats. And anytime they talk about black men, it's only under the guise of criminal justice reform, as if that is the only thing that impacts us. I've never been to prison, nor have my good friend Robert here. And so I would just say quickly here, Leland, overall.
Because right? You said something about criminal justice reform right here. You gotta think the 94 crime bill was headed by Joe Biden. It was an easy way to lock up black men with small crimes. You can lock them up a long time with the 94 crime bill that he headed. This is something that they want everybody to forget about Biden, but there's many videos of people talking about that.
Democrats do have a problem with a certain sector of African Americans. While many black people continuously vote Democratic, there is a possibility with the right message, with the right policy positions, particularly those that are focused on economics, for more black men to say, you know what, I'm going to give something else a try.
All right, fair enough. And to your point, they don't have to give it a try, right? They just have to stay home, and it changes things.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope that Republicans have to put a black platform forward to create an actual marketplace
There we go.
ideas.
All right.
Don't disagree, Rob.
All right. You see, I love this. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.
Alright, that's the video, but first, before I close the video out, let's go here. let's go to Isaiah, and this is going to be dealing with the so-called black people that want to that love Esau Edom so much they go out and vote for him, right? So that's something that so-called black people shouldn't be doing, going out and vote for these so-called demons, Esau Edom. And we're going to go to 30. It's 31. 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, says the Lord, who take counsel, but not of me. Right? This is dealing with the Israelites that go down, that go to basically the enemy for help, and who devise plans, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, who walk to go down to Egypt, and have not asked my advice, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore the strength of Pharaoh shall be your shame. Right? This is the shame of so-called the 87% of black people that voted for Biden. That's a shame right here. What it's talking about. The shame shall be therefore the strength of Pharaoh shall be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, Biden and the Democrat Party, shall be your humiliation. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to hands. They were all ashamed of a people who could not benefit them, or be helped or benefit, but a shame and a reproach. Right? And this is the reproach of so-called black people that go and vote for the Democrat Party or the Republican Party. Both of them are two wings on the same bird, like this a famous saying that they say, right? So with that, I want to give a praise to the Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, double honor to the elders and apostles of GMS, all the brothers doing the work, the 144,000. All right, to the next video, I want to say shalom, shalom.